Hey, we're live.
Hello, welcome to Midwest Preparedness Project's first ever live in coordination with Nicole Sauce from Living Free in Tennessee and Jason Sparks from Kentucky Sustainable Living. Big shout out to Nicole for helping us with technical things that we're still learning. And we're here to talk about something super cool today, and that is we are talking about the North American or the Great American Preparedness Tour. So, for those who do not know, Living Free in Tennessee with Nicole and the Self Reliance Festival, and Jason with Kentucky Sustainable Living and the Midwest Preparedness Project have partnered, and we are now the three best friends that anyone could have, and we are forming the North American Preparedness Tour. And the idea is to form a network of sustainable prepper homesteading type shows that all work together to create something where people can travel across the country and see each of the shows at different times and make it where the times don't conflict with each other. And maybe, just maybe in 2024, there will be some new special cheat codes and some new fun things that we're going to launch along with it. So with that, welcome to all of our show hosts, and let's get everything started. So, Patrick, what would you like to say about the North American Preparedness Tour?
Yeah, so this is again Patrick Henry and Bobby Spags, Midwest Preparedness Project. We're grateful for all you guys being in there. It looks like I saw a couple of my buddies in there. I saw, let's see who was in there first and foremost. Nowhere Homesteady. That's my buddy. That's our buddy. So go check that out. So Nowhere Homesteady. That's Kyle Chrisman, our buddy over there at Nowhere Homesteady. He does our stage and helps us out with a bunch of other stuff. So first and foremost, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate you, Kyle.
See Special Operations. Shout out to John Willis.
Who else do we have in here today?
Self Reliance Festival. They're here somehow. That's creepy.
Oh, the magic of the internet.
Yeah. Tara's here.
Hey.
Hello, Tara.
Hey, is that Chuck? Is that Chuck Peoples? The infamous Chuck Peoples?
Chuck Peoples.
Wow, lucky that, Chuck. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Philippine nomad.
Dude,
he's everywhere.
My brother from another mother in the Philippines, the PI. Good to see you.
I hope he makes it out here at some point to one of these.
I know, right? So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So we're proud to announce again a partnership with Nicole and Jason. You know, we're streamlining right into October. We've got this wonderful cadre of shows lined up for you guys. If you guys have not done so already, you've missed the deadline to get the premiere tickets. I think, is that what they were? The early bird tickets, Nicole?
Yeah.
Self Reliance Festival. But you can still go get tickets right now. There's still a handful of tickets for the classes available. And if you go to Kentucky Sustainable Living, there's still a handful of seats available for the charity dinner and their classes as well. So let's pack those seats, guys. We're creating this wonderful event for you guys so that you can have this amazing experience, kind of like, and again, this gambit of, Kentucky, Tennessee, and now Kansas here in the Midwest.
Yeah, and if you have people in your life who are coming to you a little bit scared, wondering, like, what do I do? Coming to these events is a very grounding experience. It's not like a frantic fear-mongering situation. We're helping people connect with new skills, connect with each other, and ground themselves to make good decisions moving into the future, adding resilience into their lives, adding strong relationships, because those are the things that help you the most when things get crazy. And I think one of the best outcomes that I see at any of our events is people walk away from there feeling empowered to go take control of something new in their life. It's always, somebody's going to start a business, or they're going to learn how to can food, or they're going to put in a raised bed, or they're going to learn how to raise chickens, or they're going to do something. And when you start doing something that is proactive and productive, then when you hear all of the sort of the, can I say the A word here? Ass clown circus, which are the politicians just like jabbering and causing fear, and we're going to blow up the world, that sort of stuff. You realize it's like I can't control that. So if it happens, we'll just have to cross that bridge. And B, what I'm doing right now sets me up to be more resilient. If a tornado hits, if lightning strikes, if I'm stuck in an ice storm, and if the economy kind of goes into this like depression sort of thingy-magummer. So I think the empowering part of these festivals are well worth the investment of time and money. And taking the add-on workshops are great. I can't, like Chuck Peoples, who is doing the homestead medical workshops, both at Kentucky Sustainable Living and at the Self Reliance Festival, man, tactical cut his head really bad. And he's like, I refuse to go to the emergency room. And so I was helping with the wound care. Chuck was advising him, like, is this clean enough? All of that to make sure he didn't get infected, and he didn't.
Nice.
So it's like, wow, man, we handled that. He didn't have to go on antibiotics. It all worked out.
Yeah, and the thing about coming to the festivals, it's not a fear mongering thing. You know, we're not going to fear monger people into doing stuff. It's take these steps to be proactive with stuff. And like Nicole said, you're set up better, and you do hear the mumblings in the back, but it really doesn't affect you. I listen to some of the news and know what's going on, but I don't make my decisions on what's going on with that. I've already got my plan in place, and I'm working my plan regardless of what's going on in DC, because you can't, I've got no effect on that, but I've got effect in my immediate area. And start your plan and work that plan. It's just like anything else. You've got to have a plan for what you're doing.
Right. Well, that's kind of the idea, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of the idea of the tour, is to start these little concentric circles, these ripples across the country. And I assume at some point we might even add other shows to this at some point. And eventually this cluster of events will be out there publicly on the internet for everyone to find. And then they can physically travel to these shows. And like you both so eloquently said, they're going to come here, not leave with the doom and gloom mentality. So many of the original prepper expos and shows back in the day focused so much on that sort of thing that you left it kind of with a sense of foreboding and an armful of rice, right? That's all you really got out of it. Whereas these more relevant homesteader style prepping shows are more about, like Nicole said, the self-resilience. Come find your tribe. You're going to find people at all three of these events that you're going to be able to have conversations with and that you're going to make friends with. There are still people at our show that have lifelong lasting, both regular friendships and even business arrangements with each other. It's all part of creating that counterculture, that counter economy that we all can kind of work in, no matter what happens and what it is.
Yeah, I personally have been to 3 Self-Reliance festivals now, and I'm better for all 3 of them. I've met people that have enriched my life. And in fact, after those initial meetings, I've kept in contact with, and we're mutually assisting one another, that's the whole point in all of this, right? Is to build and expand that mutual assistance network on top of making yourself more reliable. It's like, you guys hinted at, building that counter economy, building that counter culture, and then building your own skill sets so that you are always an asset. In whatever circle, whatever tribe you find yourself in, you're a part of the solution.
Yeah, Homestead Medical sums it up. All 3 networks are all one big family, and so much information, actionable information from all involved. You can't help but grow and gain knowledge. So this morning, I got up and on one of the Telegram groups of one of our networks, I don't remember which one, Nomad Brad, I think, or Nomad Homestead, I don't know, somebody with Nomad in their name said, I would like to buy this specific kind of worm. They are called by these names, lists 5 names. I want a pound of them. Is anybody selling them in the network? Because I'd rather put my money into the network than just order them online. So I think the other thing that's pretty cool about what's happened with our festivals and communities is that people are starting to say, hey, can I hire you to do the thing?
Amen.
Hey, does anybody know somebody doing, ham radio? We've got Radio Made Easy. Does anybody know somebody doing herbal medicine? I've got somebody doing a presentation for us for our Freedom Cell on herbal medicine that I just asked Brad Bleasdale, who's also in our network, who do you know? And I had somebody like that. That is the counter economy.
Right.
Like we don't have to do anything different than we already know what to do. We just have to be proactive about asking the question.
That's it. Being able to get outside of our introvert tendencies, because that's what most people in the homesteading preparedness world are. They tend to be kind of self-centric or kind of self-isolating. They kind of find themselves in this little niche. But getting outside of that and expanding your mutual assistance group, or your interconnections with those people that can help provide those services when you're looking for a very specific worm or very specific chicken or lumber or electrical services, whatever it is, right?
Yep. I started raising American breast chickens because they're a reasonable combination egg and meat bird based on what other people say. So I don't know until I do them. But they also will raise their own chicks, which is desirable. So I don't have to raise chicks in the future. So they propagate. I found somebody else in Tennessee who got their American breast chickens from a totally different source than I did, swapping roosters.
Yeah.
So that's the other. We can start keeping genetics strong just by knowing each other, which is pretty darn cool.
Right.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get into the American breast chicken soon. I hope.
Oh, I got lots of roosters.
I
Not to be meat, but I could probably hook you up with a rooster. I'll see if I have an extra female if you just want a pair.
We've hatched out. We've got a breeding hen, and she's already hatched out 4 chicks since the other day. So I'm gonna go check on. I want to check on her after this and see how she's doing. Hey, Shelly.
Yeah, Shelly. Hey, Shelly.
Hey.
Shelly should be here.
Shelly's at work. She's got
She has a real job, right?
yeah.
Thank you, Shelly. The people in the wagon that are on government assistance appreciate your services.
So I want to talk about this. The Great Collapse is here. What does the Great Collapse mean to any of you? Because this is something where we had CJ out in March, CJ Kilmer of the Dangerous History podcast, and he talked about collapses of society throughout history. And I see a lot of other prepper channels going all in on the collapses here and we're all gonna die and you better dig your hole and have a bunker. And I wonder what's gonna happen if that's not how this goes. If it's more of a transition to something different rather than a lot of negative stuff, which is often how collapses of regimens go. Like the collapse for the British was not a big, like the British Empire collapse. If you think about how that happened,
Right, it was just a slow
it
slide.
wasn't like everybody in England died, right? No.
I've never been a part of the Chicken Little Sky is Falling group. I've never been able to subscribe to that. In fact, my mantra is kind of a counter to that in that you shouldn't necessarily work at preparing for the end of the world or rocks falling from the sky. Just start with a rainy day and go from there. Just start with a 2-week, I lost my job and I need I need some beans and rice, or I need a couple of extra bucks, and go from there. It doesn't have to be the sky is falling preparation or homestead preparation.
This isn't the 1600s or the 1400s or the 10s anymore. This is the modern world where everything is automated, electricity, computers, AI, all those different things, right? I don't think we're going to see Mad Max ever. I think we're just going to see a slow slip into mediocrity that just reforms into a new paradigm, whatever that is. I don't think collapse is going to be nearly as cataclysmic as most people imagine it to be. I think that just falls into the prepper porn mentality, quite honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I think collapse looks exactly like what we're going through right now.
I seem to agree on that. It's almost like a chronic disease. You've got like warning signs of cancer, and you kind of ignore it a little bit, and you're just like, oh, I've just been coughing or something like that, and you just kind of kick it down the road. And it just keeps building up. And eventually when you get diagnosed, it's like stage 4. And then you're like, oh, great, I don't know what to do now. You're in a panic. But if you would have taken that before and took steps to do it, like we're doing now on the preparedness aspect, you can mitigate a lot of that stuff. And I think it's just going to be a slow, steady burn. And when you finally realize that something has happened, there's stuff happening every day that brings us in a slower decline of our lives. But if you're prepared for it, it doesn't affect you near as much.
Yes,
and it's like, Patrick, it's like you said, I'm not a Chicken Little. I don't think an EMP is going to devastate us right now or anything like that. It's the whole financial stuff. But if you're prepared for it, you're setting a lot better. I mean, all of us sitting here are setting a lot better than 99% of the people will.
Oh, amen. 100%. I subscribe wholeheartedly to Bobby's theory in building concentric rings of these preparedness groups. That way, at the end of the day, if you find yourself in a precarious situation, you're going to have friends north, south, east, and west. You're going to be able to find a solution somewhere, and one of the people that you've developed a relationship, most likely one of these events from.
Right. I mean, think about it. Nicole's going to be at our show in early October. What happens if there's an earthquake in Appalachia during that time and she can't get home right away? She knows she's in a good company.
I got your back.
And when we're going to be at Jason's show in October and at Nicole's show in October, if something happens and we just can't get home, they know we're not going to be dead weight. They know we're not just going to be worthless eaters, that we're actually going to be able to contribute to the cause. And that's kind of the whole point here. All three of these events are a little bit different, right? All of the atmospheres of these three things are different, but but the result is the same, and that is we're now reaching, old school 80s hands across America type thing to make it that we're, no matter where you end up, you have a home.
Yeah, we debated starting this live, just so you guys all know, so that we were pretending like we were holding hands and singing "We Are the World," but that just didn't matter.
We looked on everybody's screen whose hand was where.
So you're all welcome.
Yeah, and part of it too, as far as the preparedness aspect, it's about saving money too, finding deals on stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you live 30 minutes from town and you need spaghetti sauce to make dinner, are you going to drive? Just think of all the times, 30 minutes in, 30 minutes out, and then the time in the grocery store. It's like, if I would have just bought some more of that, I could have saved an hour and a half of my life, plus all the resources it took to get there and back.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
I have a friend who lives in a condo in New York City in a high rise. Really good friend. And she has an insane inventory management system and considers it a complete failure if she ever has to actually go into a grocery store.
Wow.
And she can literally walk into, into a place nearby. She's like, it's an enormous waste of time, even if you live next door to the grocery store, to go in just to buy a pack of gum, because even that's going to take anywhere from 15 to half an hour with lines and all of that for a 25-cent pack of gum, which are probably 50 cents now because of inflation. But it's not. So her whole point is she has a rotating pantry where, same thing, she loads from the back and takes from the front and has clear ideas and can look at a glance of what's up and then reorder. And she orders her groceries for delivery because she's in the city and that's feasible there. Right. And she doesn't waste her time at the store. And same thing. So that philosophy translates from country to city.
Sure.
Shelly saying, I've been trying to do Nicole's Garden 30. You got to do something every day. Yes, Shelly, I've been trying to do my Garden 30 too.
You know what? It's true, though.
I think that's exactly why Nicole's class at our event is going to be so timely for the folks. Nicole's going to be giving a class at Midwest Preparedness this October called the 15-Minute Homestead. And I think it's information like that you're going to find at shows like this and festivals like this that are going to get you into the reality of why you should be into preparedness and homesteading and all that stuff. And it gets you away from the Godzilla stomping through Tokyo and aliens raining down nukes and all that nonsense. It's going to get you more into reality so that when a 2020 scenario hits and there's lines at Walmart to get toilet paper, because apparently that's what you need for a cough, you've got it and you don't have to stand in that line. If you find yourself without work, you have a pantry full of food and you don't have to worry about spending money you don't have on food. And it's about real life. It's about actually conquering the world as it's thrown at you little bit at a time.
Yeah, people who are with me through listening to my podcast through my transition from more of a job to the lifestyle I'm in now, where I do the coffee, the festival, and my podcast, know that my first year out, I went from having a almost 6-figure income to I'm selling eggs for $8 a dozen, which was a very big income shift for me. And I was, doing a lot of shotgun approach to stuff.
Yep.
And I made the decision in January of that year, since I knew my income was going to be terrible, that unless I had to buy it, I wouldn't buy it and just live off the pantry. And because I had my pantry so well built out, I hardly had to spend any money on basic necessities, which freed me up to put time into building what I do now. And had I not had that, it would have been, you know, probably $20,000 of additional debt, even if I was careful with grocery purchases.
Mhm.
So I didn't have to buy toilet paper for a year. Like I apparently I live in a state of terminally afraid I'm going to run out of toilet paper, so I'd always buy extra. So it turned into a game like, how long can I really go till I need toilet paper? That was well before 2020, though.
What a crazy metric to measure your life and your preparedness circle by, though, you know. but it's so relevant. It's true, you know. And it's kind of interesting that you bring that up, because again, that is kind of how we looked at ourselves there for a while. How much toilet paper, you know, can we?
Right.
Yeah, and Bobby, it's like you're saying a little bit, and Nicole too. It's more of a lifestyle. Too many people get put in that prepper box of, I can go buy all the gear, set it in the closet, and then I'm good. It's more of the lifestyle of doing something every day, and you actually live it. That's what I run into. So many people that I talk to. There's one guy, he'd send me a text message. What's the best knife to put in my bug out bag? And I'm like, you really can't define what's the best knife. There's too many parameters, or what I need to put in my bug out bag. And I'm just like, holy crap, I just don't want to have this conversation. I'm like, it's all, it's just worn out to me. And I'm like, we'll talk later on and I'll tell you some stuff, but it's live this stuff and not just buy the crap. Let's do this. I'm doing something every day to get myself further along in the preparedness and sustainability journey.
Amen.
Awesome.
Not just buying it. And yes, you buy stuff, but I use that stuff. I bought some stuff the other day. We bought a bunch of fence. The fence is already put up. It's not like, oh, I've got 3 rolls of fence, and when the shit hits the fan, I'm going to put fence up around my property. We bought the fence and put it up that Saturday.
Amen.
So speaking of the message of positivity that our festivals are engaging in, Nicole, tell us about your class lineup for your show this coming.
Tell me about what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Tell us about your class lineup, what people can expect to see.
We got some. So I just found out that it's 99% certain that Wrangler Star is going to be there. And when I have actually closed that loop, we'll go big on that, because that's super exciting. I know. And
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell me I'll geek out.
Like some very good sources are like, yes, he is planning to come. I don't want to say 100% because, you know, he's a busy man and who knows what happens last minute. Joel Salatin's going to be there. And I asked him to speak more on the freedom topic than his traditional homesteading things that he talks about, because everybody hears him talk about homesteading. And so he was actually just going back and forth with me yesterday about what his topic title will be. And I think something along the lines of managing a Bill Gates dominated society, or making Bill Gates irrelevant. What we're talking about. And then he also, so that's on Sunday. On Monday, which is after the festival, he's going to kick off our chicken processing workshop. So we have a hands-on workshop where you actually process the chickens. Joel's starting with the demo to show you how he does it. He's one of the best chicken processors in the world. He's going to show that from stage, and then we'll kind of flow into the class where people can process their birds, and then that's it. So that's going to be cool. We've got John Willis talking about just how to build your life and build, like, no excuses. Get off your butt. Start building something to make your income more sustainable, because with inflation, it really helps if you can also earn more money to deal with the inflation. So there's this, like, we're in this situation where you don't need as much money, right, Jason, if you're raising pigs and getting meat off your homestead. But at the same time, when you do need to go out into the real world, like, I think I spent $50 on a pizza yesterday related to being out of town right now and feeding people. You know, pizzas were $20 last time I looked at pizza prices. So it's, so when you need to interact with the real world, you'll be surprised sometimes if you don't have enough money how to do that. And money really helps when you are in in trouble. Hi, Trisha. So that's cool. Jack Spirko is going to talk about navigating a world with artificial intelligence, because a lot of people in our communities are really scared of artificial intelligence. But if you don't look at how it works and how it can help you and those sorts of things, and the world is going that direction right now. You're waving your hand about that.
Tag's in the audience. We're waving at him.
Oh, hi, Tag. So we've got a lot of classes like that. We've got small game trapping. We've got Joel Riles back with his dogs. He's also talking about how to build a niche market. So it's just going to be really cool. I'm going to go back and redo my underground networking presentation this year, because I have heard from no fewer than 5 people in the last 4 weeks, your underground networking presentation changed my life. I heard that from Porterhouse and a whole bunch of other people, that it made them rethink about their networks. And I think that's the mindset we need to do. Tag's going to help me actually also connect people. He's going to be in talking about community. So, there's just a lot going on. We've got music, we've got a dinner that night, and all sorts of fun stuff. That's all at selfreliancefestival.com, guys, if you're just hearing about this for the first time.
So, Jason, can you tell us a little bit about your lineup, what you've got going on, and the dates for the Kentucky Sustainable Living Festival?
Ours is the October 27th, 28th, and 29th. The 27th, we've got 2 classes on that Friday. Chuck is doing a homestead medicine class, and then Eric from Porterhouse and Teal is doing a permaculture, a guild planting class is what he's going to do. Both of those are going to be hands-on. You can sign up at our website. It's KentuckySustainableLiving.com. Some of our speakers, we got Chuck's going to be speaking. Tag will be speaking. I can pull it up. We got Aaron T. Scott. If you've seen Aaron T. Scott on YouTube, she's coming in and going to speak. We've got, and I forget, Eric is going to speak also. Greg Brown is him and Greg Judy are big buddies, and he's going to talk about regenerative agriculture and your pastures and keeping your pastures in good shape. Jake Drum with Drum Emergency Medical will be there. Bruce DeVries is going to be there talking about biochar. Darren Strong will be there. Enos will actually be there. He's a trapper that's here with us and does a lot of trapping for people. There's Jeff Smith is everyday prepper. He's going to be talking about using Jeff does a lot of stuff with older tools and stuff like that. And he's going to talk about old tools, crosscut saws, axes, how to maintain and sharpen those.
Nice.
So, which is awesome. I'm excited about that. And then the big thing, Saturday night, we're having a charity dinner for Vets for Child Rescue. You can buy tickets at the website for that. We're trying to raise enough money. We've got a number in mind with them. And if we can raise enough money, they're going to come to Kentucky and put some of those bastards behind bars. So I'm excited about that.
Where can you get tickets for that dinner?
It's at KentuckySustainableLiving.com under the VIP charity dinner.
Yeah, even if you don't go to the dinner, even if you can't make it, you can still buy a ticket and support the cause, guys.
Yeah. And there's one guy, he bought 2 tickets and he can't make it. Yep. But he bought tickets just to donate the money for that.
Yep, exactly. It's a good cause.
And there's also a thing where you can just donate. If you don't have the money for tickets, you can donate anything from $1 up to whatever you want to on the website also.
Eagle Lover Texas is in here. Hey, Kathy, how you doing, hon?
Here's something cool to think about, too, when it comes to the the Great American Preparedness Tour. Chuck Peoples, from what I can tell, is speaking at all 3 events. So he is traveling. Tag is speaking at all 3 events. So he's traveling. Nicole is coming to our event. We're going to your guys' event. That's kind of the whole chemistry here, right? Is we're getting folks to breach that little sphere that they have now to
cross-pollinate,
create that rippling effect.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to share more knowledge in more places now that we're doing things like this.
If I could vote for, I don't care if you answer this question, guys. I don't know if Jason cares. I'm fine with how things sit right now. But the question is there a site listing all these different festivals? Jason, do you have an opinion about that?
There is, isn't there?
Yeah. Okay. So Tell us about that.
Okay. Yes, there is a website being developed right now to host the Great American Preparedness Tour. It's going to be a simple website that's just going to have it's going to be a landing page where all the festivals can be found. It's still under development. We're still working out the kinks on how we want the page to look, but that is coming soon, and I'm going to bet a ridiculous amount of money that by the time our festivals kick off in October, that there will be public information about this website.
Yeah, do you want to say what it is? Because I'm showing it right now.
Yeah, it is. It's the Preparedness Tour. Preparednesstour.com. And right now it just has a little bit on there. Nicole is showing it, but it will look a lot better in the coming weeks. We've just got to get it finished. And like I said, it's not going to be a super interactive website. It's designed just to show you who's on the tour and their current show, or it's going to basically lead you back to their website so that whatever the current show is always there. The website itself won't have to have a calendar that's regularly updated because our websites will be the calendar.
Yep. And that's, I mean, I think even if it's not perfect right now, guys, it's the preparednesstour.com. You can go there and get to all 3 festivals. I also know that if you go to all 3 festivals, this year there might be a secret prize.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
You might have to go to all 3 events to find out.
Chuck Peoples, for example, is speaking at all 3, which means he'll be at all 3. So I'm pretty sure that he'll find out if there is. Yep. You just got to prove you were at the festival physically.
Here's what's cool, though. There's going to be organic growth from this that we have nothing to do with. I already happen to know that there might very well be something that Grumpy Acres is going to do for people that get to all 3. That's the cool thing. There doesn't have to be central control over any of this. This is going to organically grow. Again, the concentric ripples, the concentric circles of sphere and influence is going to naturally happen. That's why we're so excited to announce this Great American Preparedness Tour. We are creating the counter economy. We are creating the counterculture, and we have amazing lineups of people at all 3. Patrick, why don't you talk about our lineup a little bit so people know what to expect there?
Yeah, guys. So in October, so we're hosting the Midwest Preparedness Project's 21st semi-annual Fall Festival. We're having it this year at Perry Lake here in Perry, Kansas. So Friday, so actually you can come out Tuesday through Thursday. It's free camping. The campsite's limited. There's only a certain amount of RV parking. We're asking the overflow parking to park out in the adjacent RV campsites. But there's plenty of tent camping spots along the road and in the main camping area. So on Friday, we have a wonderful panel, like Bobby was mentioning earlier. We have this really, really cool dude named Chuck Peoples from, I don't know, Homestead Medical. He might be in the comments section there, but he's actually coming to Kansas. Somehow Bobby convinced him. I don't know what he paid this guy, but somehow he convinced him to come to Kansas and hang out with us. And so Chuck is going to give us a class on Beyond First Aid and Stop the Bleed. Then we have this amazing person. I don't know where she's at in the call. If it's she on this side or is she on this side of me? So Nicole Sauce from Living Free in Tennessee, she's going to be there that morning. She's going to give a class on the 15-minute homestead. We have a freedom panel that afternoon that's going to have all of our guest speakers. Tag from Life Done Free is going to host that for us. He's going to bring everybody up on stage. It's going to be a pretty cool, unique experience. And we've got a new thing for you guys this year. So in the comment section, Grumpy's in here. Grumpy is hosting a seed exchange this year. So we do this Barter Town event on Saturday. It's a no cash, barter only event. Well, Grumpy is hosting a seed version of that on Friday night. We've got people from Canada, New York, Texas coming in with all different variations of sustainable seeds to trade and barter with. It's going to be a pretty cool little event. And then later on that evening, we do a Preppers After Dark session around the campfire where yours truly reads from the new Without Rule of Law cards from a good friend of ours, JD Dutra, and his friend Southern Prepper One. So this is a pretty neat little deal. We're going to break this out this year and start showing you guys. We actually might give away some of those card sets at our event. And then coming into Saturday, we have a good friend of ours, a local, Michael Staus from Paratus Radio. He's going to give us a discussion on building your digital homestead. Michael is he's super up to speed on technology trends, securing your cell phones, your email, all kinds of good stuff. Then we have another local, Daniel Jones of Holden Direct Care. He's going to give us a talk on your medicine cabinet. What expiration dates are realistic? Like, what can you really do with fish mocks? Some of that kind of stuff. And then later in that evening, we have another celebrity. Toolman Tim is coming in. I don't know how Bobby gets this stuff. Bobby talked Toolman Tim into coming down and hanging out with us. And he's going to give us a talk on killing the poverty mindset, how he went from a zero to a hero in his own life, taking and plucking himself out of poverty and building a life that he doesn't need to take a vacation from. Again, some of that counterculture, counter economy stuff.
So this is a good question from Trisha. What are the differences in each event?
You'll have to come to see.
They are so complement each other, but we are different. They I think come in with a different approach, all three of them. Where what I can see from the outside is the Midwest Preparedness Project seems to be more about with lots of space in between sessions and time for people to interact, and it's a big camping event. We have a lot of sessions and demonstrations going on simultaneously at Special Operations Equipment. And then Kentucky Sustainable Living, I don't know how to explain the difference. I'm going to hand it to Jason, having heard my two, to say.
We've got a lot of speakers packed in. So we're going to have 2 speakers going at once in different areas. We've got a huge vendor area. There's going to be close right now. Last count was, I think, 48 vendors there. So there's going to be stuff you could leave there with soap, a greenhouse, and a bobcat if you wanted to in that day. So, I mean, you could leave with all that stuff, knives, whatever you want to. We're going to have demonstrations going in another area also. We're going to do a pig processing and chicken processing there. We've got Emily Rock. She's going to have one of her milk cows there all weekend long. So you can go down there and ask her questions, help her milk a cow. So yes, there's overlap in every show, and there's always going to be some overlap, but there's going to be a little bit different nuances on each one.
So the reason I would want to go to all three is less about what's different at each one and more about what's the same. And that's the networking opportunities to make real relationships with people who you can count on. And you will find, and this is the cool part, you will find there is somebody who lives near you at every one of these festivals. I have to date never had somebody show up and say, I'm from X. Who else is from X? And not finding somebody reasonably close to them. If you're looking for somebody a mile from you, that might not happen. And I think that's really cool. But paired with that is, yes, you find people close to you, but then you also find people who are further away, but with overlap. And we have travelers who go back and forth. And this is a big deal. So this year, this is how this worked. This year I got really interested in spinning. So I may bring my spinning wheel to Self Reliance Festival so people can learn how to do that. I have a teacher there who knows how to spin, so she could do it. I'm sure she'd be happy to. And I really decided I wanted a spinning wheel. And I've wanted a spinning wheel for 25 years, thinking I would like spinning. Actually learned how to spin at Paul Wheaton's event in Montana.
Wow.
Came back and I'm like, I want a spinning wheel. Find one in Illinois, not in Illinois, in Indiana, which is far from me. And I'm like, well, I could drive 5 hours up, get this thing, and drive 5 hours back. Or, and I put it out on the network, does anybody live here willing to pick this up? I will send you the $300 to do it with. You have to trust that I'm not lying about my PayPal. It's not a PayPal fraud from Nicole Sauce. Somebody I never met before in person said, I'll give it a go. And he got $300 of his own money, handed it to his sister. She went and picked it up, brought the spinning wheel back to him. I transferred him money. And it just so happened 3 days later, his dad was driving to Tennessee for something completely unrelated. So he hands it off to his dad and brings me my spinning wheel, and we meet him at a gas station for the handoff of this thing. That's how that overlap can work, right? And that was pretty cool. Like, both of us had to have faith about something. I had to have faith he wouldn't take my $300 and just like split. He had to have faith that my PayPal was not like some weird fraud bot account. And then we got it done. Well, when we did our first Freedom Cell meetup at the Holler Homestead, a month later, he drove down for it. So
Wow.
I have now met him in person, and he's seen the spinning wheel in my living room. And like that relationship is an important one that would have never happened without all of these events happening, and just having faith that the people we meet in our networks are doers,
Right.
Yeah.
and not fraudsters.
And I wouldn't know any of y'all if I wouldn't have come down to the first thing that when y'all had Billy do the swales class. I came down, and Nicole, I met you, and then after I came to Self Reliance, that's where I met Spags and Data at. So I mean, yeah, you gotta get up off the stinky couch and go meet people.
Amen. That's it. Get off the couch and go plant a tomato. I know somebody that says that.
I think my favorite thing too is amongst all of us.
Like making the time. I'm probably the busiest person in the world, right? But I still go to these things. Like, let me tell you, the worst weekend for me to speak at an event would be the weekend before Self Reliance Festival. Yet, where am I speaking the weekend before Self Reliance Festival? Yeah, because these guys are worth it. Now, would I be at Kentucky Sustainable Living if I wasn't already booked somewhere else before I found out about the event? Yes. Yes, I would. The problem is I like physically will not be in the state and drive up there. I would have day tripped if nothing else.
Yeah.
Because it's worth that investment. It's worth figuring it out. It's worth me finding a farm sitter, which I've had to do, right? Like, because all of us in the holler leave for part of the time during SRF. Costs a little bit of money to pay that person, but it's worth it.
Oh yeah, it's well worth it to get out and do these things. Yeah, it costs a little bit of money to go, but I mean, hey, it's you make some valuable contacts, you meet great people, and you learn a lot of stuff. So, and I'll tell you, at SRF, I have sat through one presentation the 2 times I've been there. Every other time I've been talking to people and making connections.
Yeah, it's like Jill said in the comments, you build concentric rings and you find people you can network with. You find people that you can tribe up or clan up with. You find people with commonality. You find people that you can give a shit about. That's what it boils down to. But it's true.
I think I need one of those.
Well, I have extras.
I got 200 of them.
I think I will get you one, Nicole, when you come visit. I've got it out for you.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
I'll put it with your cayenne shake I made you.
I'm so excited about that cayenne shake.
I think that's the coolest thing about
this.
this.
Totally off topic. My second workshop, I was outside, and one of my, because I hire people when I do workshops at my house, one of the people working in the kitchen comes out and says, Nicole, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, oh no, like somebody has poisoned themselves or cut their toe off or something. And she said, we have a situation. What? Am I going to have to kick somebody out? Like, I'll kick them out. She goes, we dropped the jar of ghost pepper powder over by the outdoor shower and nobody can get near there. Because it was just like floofing through the air. We don't know what to do. And I was like, I'll be right back. And I went and got my respirator. And there's like video of me with eye protection and a respirator, like with a hose to get it like water, to get it to fall out of the air, to get the hazmat taken care of. We were talking about dehydrating peppers in your house. I think it was yesterday with Jack and John. And I know from experience that when you run the Excalibur with jalapenos in your house, it's a really terrible idea. Do that outside.
I do it all inside all the time.
Powder is way worse. You do it in the house?
The dehydrating isn't the worst part for me. I dehydrate the cayennes and the jalapenos inside. It's when I'm grinding, I have a mask on this year, and I'm very careful. I powder it in. Nah, I'm like crying. It's like being in the army again, getting pepper sprayed or maced or whatever. And I'm like, ugh, and my wife's just in the other room going, "You're an idiot." And I'm like, I know I am.
Here's $1 million idea. Farm Sitters of America.
Someone's going to claim that because of this, and someone's going to make $1 bajillion. They're going to be the next Jeff Bezos. They'll be laughing at us.
Particularly in the White County and DeKalb County, Tennessee area, because you could do both of our homesteads on the same weekend with that person.
You don't have to stay homely at farmsitters.com. I love it. We can do it.
Man, that goes back to Nora Homestead's comment about prepper karaoke.
That was for you, Kyle.
Well, what else? What else kind of cool things should we discuss about the Great American Preparedness Tour before we sign off here shortly?
Well, let's just talk about ideas that we're not committing to. My idea for next year was that we do a trio pass.
Ooh.
Like a ski pass like you get for a whole mountain. What if we had the pass for all the festivals?
Like we have to punch it.
What would that look like?
Yeah, I like the idea of there being something where you have to prove, like each of us have a secret signet ring, like where, the Illuminati or something. You got to dip it in wax and punch it.
Yeah, the wax ring.
Yeah, but do something where all three shows have a specific marking that only the show knows about, that we don't advertise. But if you have the card, maybe we can make it where it's a printable card on the website, where you can just print it directly from the website. You print it off, and at each show you get the stamp, the check, the initials, whatever. And if you complete it, you can mail it in to any of us, and we have something we send you. I think that might work.
I got it. All right, check this out. This is what we're going to do. We're going to start in Kentucky. You start in Kentucky. It's at the Sustainable Living Festival, and you get a decoder ring. Then you go to Tennessee, and you get a cipher. Then you come to Kansas, and you get like an invisible ink pen. And then you put it all together, and it says "Drink more Ovaltine." No, wait, I'm kidding. It can say something else, but still, you get the point.
Hey, we could punch the card and call it your festival vaccination card.
Oh,
there you go.
Your festival vaccination passport.
Your anti-vaccination passport.
Yeah.
We all just got canceled. Demonetized across the...
Good thing I'm a landlord too.
Hope we're all using VPNs.
You know what? Hoist the Jolly Rogers. Let's just get it on.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I'm not at my house. I might not get in trouble.
That's hilarious.
I've got a backup plan.
Yep. I certainly think the three of us are going to be putting our heads together for the next 5 to 6 months to come up with some really neat stuff to do to incentivize people. Maybe even a round robin thing where you print something off the website. Like I said, you bring it to us, we have to market a certain way, then you have to market a certain way, or something that only can be seen by the next show. And we'll do it in a way where it's in line with the shows and their chronological date orders. We'll come up with some neat stuff.
Yeah, Trisha's saying something you can only purchase if you have the pass or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Letty Lou's suggestion.
I will say this. I have come up with a way for you to prove you were at the Self Reliance Festival, but right now you have to talk to me at the Self Reliance Festival to get it.
Okay.
We could do tattoos.
It's a physical thing.
Tattoos?
Look, we have matching black eyes. It proves I was there. Yeah.
Like a scavenger hunt. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think we're going to put our heads together and come up with some fun stuff. And that in and of itself will eventually evolve into something awesome too. Every little thing we do, I hate to use the analogy of like the carnival or the county fair, but that's what we're building. We're building a modern day county fair that's going to be nationwide, where there's going to be sideshows and attractions and neat things at all of them. But when you put it all together, it creates something even bigger. It's like those Transformer toys from the 80s. You got all 8 of the different race cars, and then you can stick it together to make the big giant race car robot. It's going to be like that. Oh, yeah. And probably just as bit of nerdy.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Love it. Well, stay tuned, guys. We appreciate everybody jumping in. Thank you all for checking it out. Thank you all for going to the preparednesstour.com, going to the self-reliancefestival.com, Kentucky Sustainable Living.com, and the Midwest Preparedness Project.com. Thank you for checking out our events. Thank you guys for coming to the events. Nicole, we look forward to seeing you. Jason, we look forward to seeing you. And what else you got, Spags?
Just remember, every decision in life is an economic decision. So spend your economic capital with the people you see on this screen right now and enrich yourselves.
Yep. Nicole, you got anything in closing?
I was going to say, make it a great week, because it is your control how your day and your week goes. I'm gonna go hang a new beam in the ceiling for the first time right after this, and I am positive I can do it right.
Yes, hey,
You got this. Pixar didn't happen.
Come out and see us, guys. It's worth every minute, and you will love the people you meet. Jason, what do you got?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I'll bounce off you. It is worth, even if you've got to drive a day, it's worth going and meeting these people and seeing them in person, listening to what they say. My life's been changed. Like I said, I wouldn't know these people if I wouldn't got off the couch and drove a little bit to see them. And we hope everybody comes to our festival also and make all three of them. It's going to be a great time for everybody.
Awesome.
If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys.
All right.
Support your folks. Thank you.